He had dedicated more than half of his life to building Harmony Healers into what it was today. How could he bear to sell it, especially to these power-hungry individuals? He could tell that Harmony Healers would become nothing more than a money-making machine if it fell into their hands. That would completely tarnish its reputation. "You're not selling?" Ezra scoffed. "Dr. Bush, it would be best for you to reconsider before answering. It wouldn't be wise to reject us. I've lived long enough. My life is worthless anyway. I'm not afraid of you people." Brooke screamed again with bloodshot eyes. "Dr. Bush, I admire your integrity and fearlessness. But you shouldn't just think about yourself. You should think about your family and future generations, too," Ezra said with a sly grin. Brooke froze at his words. It was as if he were struck by lightning. Ezra was right. He could be fearless and unyielding in the face of power, but what about his family? These people were capable of arson and murder. Who knew what else they were capable of? "Dr. Bush, if my memory serves me right, you seem to have a beautiful granddaughter, right? At such a young age, she should have a promising life ahead of her. It would be a pity if anything happened to her, don't you think?" Ezra said with a sinister smile. Brooke's legs gave way, and he slumped to the ground with a loud thud. His face was drained of color as he lost all hope. He knew he wasn't a match for Ezra. No matter how stubborn or principled he was, resistance was futile in the face of such wealthy and influential figures. That wasn't all. Angering them could even lead to fatal consequences. That was the harsh reality. No matter how hard he struggled, it was all in vain. He was left with no choice but to yield. He no longer had the power to hold on to Harmony Healers. "Oh my, Dr. Bush, why did you fall? Come on now, let me help you up." Ezra feigned concern and went up to Brooke, helping him up to his feet. He patted the dust off Brooke's clothes and smiled. "I was just joking. Why are you so nervous? Look at you. Why are you all sweaty?" Brooke clenched his fists tightly, and his eyes flashed with resentment. But in the end, it turned into resignation. Slowly, he unballed his fists. "Dr. Bush, so, have you reconsidered your decision? Are you selling or not?" Eleanor put on a sincere expression. "You need to understand that I'm trying to help you." Their act of good cop and bad cop made Brooke nothing more than a puppet for them to toy with. "I'll sell." Brooke spat out the words in humiliation. "Hehe, that's more like it." Ezra chuckled, happy that he finally understood. "Great, this is the transfer contract. Sign here, and you will get $20 million. It would be enough to secure your family's livelihood." Eleanor seemed to have prepared for this. She took out a contract from her bag and passed it to Brooke. Brooke received the contract with trembling hands as tears streamed down his face. In the end, he couldn't fight against the powerful elites. Brooke let out a long sigh and tried not to think about it. He was about to put down his signature when a hand stopped him. He then heard a calm voice. "Dr. Bush, I'll take Harmony Healers. I'll pay $30 million for it." $30 million? Everyone present was stunned. They only realized it was Dustin who spoke out when they looked up at the source of the voice. "Bastard, what did you just say?" Ezra tilted his head, thinking his hearing had failed him. Eleanor was also frowning, looking extremely upset. "Dr. Bush, I'm willing to purchase Harmony Healers for $30 million. Not only that, I'll make sure that Harmony Healers will be rebuilt as is. You will continue to be the head doctor and oversee the management." Brooke was stunned into silence, understanding the implications behind Dustin's words. This proposition allowed Harmony Healers to maintain its current glory while he continued its benevolent mission. Though he would forfeit any claim to its profits, that sum of money was insignificant in comparison to preserving the clinic's reputation and his own peace of mind. Dustin, are you being serious?" Brooke was doubtful. "Absolutely." Dustin nodded firmly. "Harmony Healers exists to help the people. As a doctor myself, I cannot simply stand by and watch the clinic become a tool for capitalists to make money. That is why I'm going to protect it. It now depends on whether you will be willing to sell it." "Of course, I'm willing. It's just," Brooke's gaze shifted to Ezra and the others. He didn't care about the money. He would even offer it to Dustin for free since he saw him as his successor. The issue lay in the fact that both the Swansons and the Welshs had set their sights on Harmony Healers. Dustin's purchase of Harmony Healers would be a direct challenge against them. It was a dangerous act that would only harm Dustin. Bastard. Spare us the theatrics. Ezra sneered. Just look at your tattered clothes. You're no different than a beggar. You'll never be able to scrape together 30 million in your whole life. What makes you think you can buy Harmony Healers? You're clearly unqualified. In Ezra's eyes, the two of them were clearly acting. Whether it was to protect Harmony Healers or drive up the price, Brooke had intentionally had Dustin up the price. It was an underhanded tactic he had seen far too often. That doesn't concern you. But if I were to come up with 30 million, what will you do about it? Dustin challenged. If you somehow manage to produce that sum, I'll hand Harmony Healers over to you willingly. I'll wash my hands of its affairs. Ezra jeered in disdain. Do you even have that kind of money? Why don't you sell your kidney to fund that amount? I'll pay you 1 million for each kidney. How about it? Zion and the others laughed at Ezra's mocking. They looked at Dustin as if he were a fool. Eleanor interjected in a cold and bitter tone, Dustin, stop fooling around. Harmony Healers is in ruins. Passing it to us is the only sensible choice. First, you lack the funds, and second, you lack the influence. You'd be wise not to act as the hero. Eleanor's gaze was filled with hatred. How would a mere doctor have 30 million? And what made him think he was qualified to challenge the wealthy? Fooling around? Dustin shook his head as he chuckled. Instead of explaining, he took out a red card. The front side of the red card featured a golden dragon that appeared powerful and intimidating. On the back of the card were 2 words in gold, Royal Empire. This is the Royal Empire card from Langford Bank. Only those with assets exceeding $1 billion are worthy of this card. With this card alone, I can withdraw 50 million of cash from any bank in Dragonmarsh. So why don't you tell me? Am I able to afford Harmony Healers? Am I able to produce 30 million? Dustin displayed the red card in his hands clearly, looking at them mockingly. What? The Royal Empire card from Langford Bank? Everyone widened their eyes in disbelief. Langford Bank was Dragonmarsh's largest bank backed by the National Treasury. It had multiple tiers of clients. They had executive-tiered clients, gold-tiered clients, platinum-tiered clients, black-tiered clients, diamond-tiered clients, and the highest-tiered, Royal Empire clients. 2 minimum requirements needed to be fulfilled to achieve Royal Empire status. First, the person's assets had to start from billions. Second, they had to be prominent figures with significant social influence, for example, the patriarchs of wealthy aristocratic families, renowned philanthropists, or pillars of the nation. It wasn't an exaggeration that those who owned Langford Bank's Royal Empire card stood atop the wealth pyramid. Making money was just like breathing to them. The issue was less than 50 people owned the Royal Empire card in the whole of Dragonmarsh. They were all in the hands of major power players and were not used lightly unless absolutely necessary. Oh. How do you have the Royal Empire card? Ezra was unsettled at the sight of the luxurious red card in Dustin's hands. Even though he was the scion of an influential family, he was only qualified to apply for a black card. He was several tiers lower in comparison to Dustin's Royal Empire card. He couldn't understand how a poor loser like Dustin owned such a prestigious item. How I have it doesn't concern you. I just need an answer. Do you think I would be able to produce 30 million? Dustin said calmly. Ezra's mouth twitched. He was momentarily rendered speechless. Those with the card could easily take out 300 million, let alone 30 million. Impossible. Eleanor suddenly screeched. How could you own Langford Bank's Royal Empire card with your status? It must be fake. It finally made sense to the crowd after they heard Eleanor. The Royal Empire card was an extremely prestigious card.